Let me show you something strange about UPSC CSAT. From 2013 to 2025, the quantitative aptitude syllabus of CSAT has not changed much. Arithmetic is still here, number system are still there, probability is still there, yet every year thousands of serious aspirants fail CSAT. Why? Not because of the paper is impossible, but because the examiner changed the design of the questions. Earlier, CSAT tested calculation. Today, it tests containment of possibilities. Today, it tests containment of possibilities. Instead of asking what is the value, UPSC increasingly asks how many such values exist. That small shift completely changes how the paper must be solved. In this session, we will audit 12 years of CSAT quantitative aptitude, that is CSAT mathematics, from 2013 to 2025. In this session, we will decode how the paper evolved, which topics actually dominate, the 5 question archetypes UPSC keeps repeating, and the exact strategy to control CSAT 2026 attempts like questions. This is not a motivating session. This is not a motivation session. This is a pattern analysis session. This is a pattern analysis session. We will decode in this session how the paper evolved, which topics actually dominate the paper, the 5 question archetypes UPSC keeps repeating, and the exact strategy to control CSAT 2026 mathematics, that is quantitative aptitude. This is not a motivative session. This is a pattern analysis session. Let us begin. Let me show you something even more revealing. Every year, thousands of aspirants prepare seriously for UPSC CSE examination. They study for months, sometimes for years also. Many of them clear general studies comfortably, but they still fail the preliminary examination. Why? Why means because of CSAT, that is Civil Services Aptitude Test, that is paper 2, General Studies paper 2. CSAT is officially called a qualifying paper. You only need 33%, that is about 66 marks. That sounds easy, but the reality is different. Every year, a significant number of aspirants fail because of paper 2, that is CSAT. Why? Not because the questions are impossible, but because they approach CSAT with the wrong strategy. Wrong strategy. Some students ignore CSAT completely until, until the last 2 months. Some students ignore CSAT completely until the last 2 months. Some rely entirely on shortcuts. Some assume their basic math background will be enough to qualify this examination as far as CSAT is concerned. But UPSC does not design CSAT to test school mathematics. They are not interested in testing school mathematics. It designs CSAT to test decision making, decision making under pressure. The purpose of today's session is to remove that misunderstanding. Now let us begin by understanding how the CSAT paper evolved. How the CSAT paper evolved. Let me begin with a statement that many UPSC aspirants may find uncomfortable. That is, CSAT mathematics is not eliminating weak students. CSAT mathematics is not eliminating weak students. It is eliminating overconfident students. Students who clear GS comfortably often fail in CSAT. Not because the syllabus is vast, not because the mathematics is advanced, but because they misunderstand how UPSC design paper 2, that is CSAT. Most aspirants prepare CSAT like a mathematics exam, but the modern CSAT paper is not testing mathematics alone. It is testing containment of possibilities under time pressure. It is testing containment of possibilities under pressure. Today, we will audit the CSAT paper over the last decade from 2013 to 2025. Not casually, but systematically. We will move forward. That is evolution of CSAT maths, that is quantitative aptitude. If we observe the CSAT paper carefully, we can divide its evolution into three phases. That is phase 1, formula era. As far as formula era is concerned for UPSC CSE CSAT, from 2013 to 2016 paper, in the early CSAT years, mathematics was largely formula driven. Means using formula, you can calculate the question and answers. Topics were predictable, like those are percentages, ratios, time and work, speed and distance, and data interpretation. If a student knew the formula and could calculate quickly, the question was straightforward. Even data interpretation was common. Bar charts, pie charts, and tables, etc. This allowed students to pick up 5 to 10 easy marks. So, at that time, the examiner was testing the speed and a numerical accuracy. Testing what? Speed and a numerical accuracy. This is the phase 1. Next, we will moving ahead to phase 2. That is transition era. Transition era from 2017 to 2020. Around 2017, something interesting began to happen. What is that? What was that? Traditional arithmetic started declining slightly. Traditional arithmetic starting declining slightly. At the same time, we started seeing more questions involving number system, reminders, digital constraints, logical quant. These questions were not solved by formulas alone. Not solved by formulas alone. They required conceptual reasoning. They required what? Conceptual reasoning. For example, instead of asking find the value, UPSC increasingly asked how many such numbers exist. How many such numbers exist? That small shift completely changes the solving method. That small shift completely changes the solving method. This is the transition era from 2017 to 2020. Then this is the last phase, moving to phase number 3. This is the logical quant era from 2021 to 2025. In recent papers, the shift became even clearer. What? The modern CSAT paper focuses more on what? Number system patterns, constraint based questions, logical counting, and hybrid reasoning. Hybrid reasoning. The difficulty did not increase because mathematics became harder. It increased because question framing became more sophisticated. Question framing became more sophisticated. It increased why? Because of question framing became more sophisticated. The examiner now tests how candidates contain possibilities. How candidates contain possibilities. Not how fast they calculate. Earlier, they tested speed and accuracy, numerical accuracy. But now they are testing content possibilities, not how fast they calculate. This is the key insight we have to understand. Then we will moving to the topic heat map. What is the topic heat map? If we audit the CSAT quant section across the last decade, a clear pattern emerges. A clear pattern emerges. What? Some topics dominate, some topics are declining. Let us look at this heat map. We classified this heat map into few tiers. Tier 1, that is high frequency. High frequency questions. These appear almost every year. What are they? Those are number system, arithmetic basics, time and work, speed and distance. What are they? Number system, arithmetic basics, time and work, speed and distance. These form the structural backbone. These form the structural backbone of CSAT quantitative aptitude or CSAT mathematics. These are high frequency topics. Next, we are moving to tier 2, growing topics. What are the growing topics? These appear frequently but often with logical traps. These appear frequently but often with logical traps like remainder logic, digit constraints, probability, mixture problems. What are those topics? Remainder logic, digit constraints, probability, mixture problems. These are growing topics. Next, type 3, occasional topics. Occasional topics are geometry basics, polygon diagonals, polygon diagonals, painted cube problems. These are often quick scoring questions. Occasional topics are like ge- geometry basics, polygon diagonals, painted cube problems. These are often quick scoring questions. Quick scoring questions. What is the major trend? One major observation is the decline of data interpretation. Decline of data interpretation. We have seen earlier CSAT papers often had easy DI questions, that is data interpretation questions. Today, DI appears rarely. The examiner has largely replaced DI with logical quant problems. The examiner has largely replaced DI with logical quant problems. So, we are moving to the 5 CSAT question archetypes. What are the archetypes? What are the 5 CSAT question archetypes? Despite topic variation, most CSAT questions follow a few recurring structures. What are the few recurring structures? Understanding these structures is often more useful than memorizing formulas. How to understand these structures? More useful than memorizing formulas. Let us look at the 5 archetypes. Archetype 1 is constraint reduction. Constraint reduction. UPSC introduces conditions that limit possible answers. UPSC introduces conditions that limit possible answers. Digits must be distinct. Numbers must be prime. Numbers must be divisible by multiple values. These constraints drastically reduce the solution space. Archetype 1, let me repeat archetype 1, constraint reduction. UPSC introduces conditions that limit possible answers. Digits must be distinct, numbers must be prime, numbers must be divisible by multiple values. These constraints drastically reduce the solution space. Students who identify this early solve the question much faster. Students who identify this early solve the question much faster than others. Then archetype 2, that is reminder logic. These questions involve reminders across multiple divisors. These questions involve reminders across multiple divisors. Often the pattern becomes like this: remainder equal to divisor minus constant. Please remember this. Remainder equal to divisor minus constant, which leads to the shortcut. Which leads to the shortcut. N equal to LCM minus constant. N equal to LCM minus constant. Recognizing this pattern saves significant time. Then move to archetype 3, that is case enumeration. Instead of one answer, the question asks how many possible value exist. How many possible value exist. Students must build cases systematically. Shortcuts usually fail. Logical counting becomes essential in this case enumeration. Then archetype 4, that is identify simplification. Some questions appear complicated but simplify using algebraic identities. Some questions appear complicated but simplify using algebraic identities. Example, for example, if x plus 1 by x equal to 3, find x square plus 1 by x square. Recognizing the identity simplifies the problem immediately. Recognizing the identity simplifies the problem immediately. Then archetype 5, logical quant. These questions combine mathematics with reasoning. Sometimes the fastest approach is option elimination rather than calculation. Sometimes the fastest approach is option elimination rather than calculation. This is where many aspirants lose valuable time. What are the traps UPSC usually uses? Let us now talk about traps. Because modern CSAT questions are often built around option traps. Trap 1, successive percentage. Increase by 20%, then decrease by 20%. Many students assume that the value remains the same, but the net effect is a 4% decrease. 4% decrease. If you want to check formula, then trap 2, unit digit cyclicality, like unit digit cyclicity. Questions involving powers like 7 to the power of 2025. Example, students panic, but the unit digit follows a cyclic pattern. You have to understand the pattern. Trap 3, digit constraints. When digits must satisfy multiple conditions, brute force fails. When digits must satisfy multiple conditions, brute force fails. Students must eliminate possibilities logically. Trap 4, identity questions. Numbers look complicated but simplify quickly using identities. Then trap 5, conversion errors. For example, we will take train problems often require converting kilometer per hour into meters per second. Many students lose marks simply due to incorrect conversion. These type of traps often used in UPSC CSAT examination as far as quantitative aptitude is concerned. Exam hall simulation. What is the exam hall simulation? Let us pause and imagine the exam hall once. It is 2 p.m. already. The CSAT paper begins. You skip the first passage. You move to mathematics. The first question looks tricky. Then 2 minutes pass. You are unsure. You move to the next question. Another minute passes. You check the lock. You check the clock. Then what? 20 minutes are gone. You have solved only 3 questions. 20 minutes have gone. 20 minutes are gone. This is where many aspirants lose control. This is the starting point to lose the control. Not because the questions are impossible, but because they lack selection strategy. But because they lack selection strategy. And that is what we will discuss next. And we have to understand 5 deadly mistakes to avoid the examination. One is the late start, ignoring CSAT until May. This is the major deadly mistake to avoid. And next one, shortcut dependency, relying on tricks that fail when UPSC adds a single constraint. Then quantity over quality, quantity over quality, attempting too many questions and losing marks to negatives. This is major drawback, major mistake. Usually students are doing like this. Weak foundations, skipping number system basics. Foundations have to be important. Poor selection, getting stuck on a difficult math problem for 5 minutes. These is deadly mistakes to avoid. What are the deadly mistakes? The late start, shortcut dependency, quantity over quality, weak foundations, poor selection. These mistakes avoid compulsory. Then Metis strategy for CSAT. What is the strategy of Metis for CSAT? The goal in CSAT is not solving everything. The goal is controlled qualification. The controlled qualification. You need only 66 marks. That means about 27 correct answers. What is the safe strategy to get 66 marks easily? Attempt around 45 questions with high accuracy, like 80% accuracy. You can easily qualify CSAT comfortably. So, preparation priority. Priority number one, number system arithmetic basics. Priority number two, time and work, speed and distance. Priority number three, reminders, digit constraints, logical counting. Priority number four, probability and geometry. This order of priority of preparation is need of the hour to qualify CSAT easily for 2026. Priority number one is always number system and arithmetic basics. Priority number two, time and work, speed and distance. Priority number three, reminders, digit constraints, logical counting. Priority number four, probability and geometry. Exam hall rule. What is the exam hall rule? Divide questions into 4 categories after you got the paper. First, 20-second questions. Second one, 45 seconds questions. Third one, 90-second questions. Fourth one, skip questions. Skipping the right questions is often the difference between passing and failing CSAT. First, identify the questions which is doable in 20 seconds. Those questions are doing in the first instances. After that, 45-second questions. You attempt these questions. in priority number 2. And then under 90-second questions, this is the third priority. And fourth category, that is skip questions. Some questions has to be skipped. Skipping the right questions is often the difference between passing and failing CSAT. Please remember this carefully. Let me conclude with one final insight. CSAT mathematics is not eliminating candidates because math is difficult. It is eliminating candidates because the math is difficult. So for 2026 preparation CSAT, we have to divide 3 phases. That is foundation phase in the March month. Strengthen the number system, arithmetic basics, and daily concept practice. You have to do these foundation in March month. Then phase 2. This is called structural phase, structural practice phase. This is happening in April. Constraint problems, logical counting, and timed sectional tests have to be completed this phase in April. Then final phase, exam containment, phase 3. This is May phase. Solve full CSAT papers, improve decision control. Simulate exam conditions in the May month. Students who chase shortcuts struggle. Students who understand question structure succeeded. At Metis IAS, our approach is simple. Understand the pattern, contain the possibilities, control the exam, decode the traps. If you approach CSAT with structural clarity, qualifying the paper becomes manageable. In this session, what we have discussed so far is like archetypes, archetypes and eras, evolution of CSAT math, the topic heat map, the 5 CSAT question archetypes, and the traps UPSC uses in CSAT usually, and exam hall simulation, deadly mistakes to avoid, Metis strategy for CSAT 2026. In this we have examine priority preparation, and lastly exam hall rule, divide questions into 4 categories, 20, 45, 90 seconds, and skip questions. And the what is the Metis doctrine, understand the pattern, decode the traps, control the exam. You need structural clarity, qualifying the paper becomes manageable. As far as UPSC CSAT is concerned, generally, as far as UPSC CSAT quantitative aptitude is particularly. Thank you and all the best.